So I think that both the Americans and the Israelis will be reluctant to start another war with Iran anytime soon,
I
even
was
though the Israelis surely want to do that.
I was surprised that Israel Katz, who's the defense minister of Iran, has been threatening a resumption of hostilities. I mean, according to Larry Johnson and Scott Ritter, 1/3 of Israel has been severely damaged. 1/3 of the country by the Iranian retaliation. Why would this Minister Katz be making such a threat?
Well, the truth is that the Israeli leaders are not what one would call strategic geniuses. And they've gotten themselves into a whole heck of a lot of trouble. And Israel Katz is not the, smartest guy in that leadership group. And I think that when he's talking about going back after Iran, he's making arguments that do not make good strategic sense. You want to remember there are a lot of people in Iran today who believe that Iran should not have agreed to the ceasefire. They believe that Iran was in the driver's seat, that as the war prolonged, as the war went on, right, as it turned into a war of attrition, the Iranians were in a better situation than the Israelis were. And of course, this is the other half of the story, that it was the Israelis who went to the Americans and said, it's time to shut this war down. The Israelis understood that they would not prevail in a war of attrition. The Iranians had too many missiles. Those missiles were getting through. Israel is the size of a postage stamp, and it's very easy for a country like Iran, building on what you just said about Scott Ritter's and Larry Johnson's comments, to do enormous amounts of damage to that small country. So I don't understand why people are talking about starting the war back up again in Israel.
Here's something else that Israel Katz said. Chris, you have these full screens. Defense Minister said from Haaretz, Defense Minister says Israel plans to concentrate all Gaza's population in humanitarian zone built on Rafah's ruins. Times of Israel. Plan said to outline humanitarian transit camps to house Gazans before possible relocation. So after he retired from the IDF, one of their commanding generals referred to the Gaza Strip as an open-air concentration camp. Now Israel Katz is planning a formal, not open-air concentration camp.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to wonder about the rhetoric that the Israelis use. It's so Orwellian. They talk about voluntary transfer, as if the Palestinians are voluntarily going to leave.
Right.
They talk about a humanitarian camp, as if this were a humanitarian camp. The more time goes by, Judge, and I hate to say this, and I say it reluctantly, but I believe it's true. The Israelis look like the Nazis. Their rhetoric, their behavior, it's truly appalling. And it's hard to believe that a Jewish state is behaving much the way the Third Reich did in the 30s and 40s.